Hey y'all, it's Renika. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Renika. I'm a singer, songwriter, audio engineer, producer, portrait painter, and so much more. I'm all about positive vibes, personal freedom, and creative expression. Now, let's get into today's video. For today's video, we are discussing the woman internationally known as the vocal Bible, and you already know who that is. I mean, if you're plugged in, then you know who that is, but we're going to be talking about Brandy today. I think that Brandy is at least top 2 in terms of artists who have inspired me vocally. Her backgrounds, I'm going to get more into her backgrounds like as I get deeper into this video, but I just feel like I should just right off the bat let you know that this woman has tremendously influenced me vocally, and it just wouldn't have been right if I didn't include her in like the first few episodes of this R&Bop series, because she needs to be here. And specifically in today's video, we are going to be discussing her sophomore album, Never Say Never. Never Say Never was released June 9th, 1998. It includes production from Rodney Jerkins, Dallas Austin, David Foster, Fred Jerkins III, Brad Gilderman, Harvey Mason Jr., Mark Nelson, and Guy Roche. Writers on this album include Rodney Jerkins, Fred Jerkins III, LaShawn Daniels, Tracy Hale, Nikolaya Ty-V Turman, Joseph Lewis Thomas, Brandy Norwood, Monica Arnold, Jaffe Tejeda, Shelley Piken, Mason Betha, Isaac Phillips, Harvey Mason Jr., Mark Nelson, Diane Warren, Gordon Chambers, Brian Adams, Michael Kamen, and Robert John Lang. Singles from this album were The Boy Is Mine, Top of the World, Have You Ever, Almost Doesn't Count, You Don't Know Me Like You Used to, and Everything I Do It For You. Never Say Never comes 4 years after Brandy's debut album, Brandy. In her 4-year hiatus from music, Brandy took the time to pick up notable acting roles such as Moesha, Cinderella, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Something that I learned while researching this album is that during this 4-year hiatus between her debut and the sophomore album, Brandy actually considered giving up music. She felt as if the music industry was changing and she was losing her passion for it. It wasn't until she met Rodney Jerkins, LaShawn Daniels, and Jaffe Tejeda that her passion for music came back full force. She's quoted saying in a Jet 1999 interview, "They really turned it around. When I met Rodney, his tracks were so mean, so unbelievable. And the writing that LaShawn and Jaffe did, they came to the table and they really brought a lot of the feelings that I had inside of me out. They changed my whole perspective on this music thing. When I started to work with them, I wanted to go to the studio every day. I wanted to sing every day. I didn't want to act anymore after that." After being commissioned to work on this album, Rodney came into this album with the idea of doing a concept album. I feel like I just said album a lot of times. Brandy also states that since her debut album, her voice and her heart matured. And that sound honestly really does show. Like during my re-listen of this album, I realized just how many ballads were actually a part of this album and how contemporary it sounded. As I was researching this album, a genre title that kept coming up besides the obvious R&B was adult contemporary. And it makes sense because she was looking up to singers like Celine Dion. I was going to say Brandy. She was looking up to singers like Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, and Whitney Houston at the time. And you can heavily hear their influence on this album once you realize that. And honestly, y'all, I find it very ironic that the woman who grew up to be known as the vocal Bible was not feeling super secure in her own vocal strength. She would record a song for the album, then go and listen to one of the singers that I mentioned a little bit earlier and re-record what she had already done. Reading about that made me want to make this video specifically geared towards the fact that Brandy has one of the best voices I've ever heard in my entire life. She has some of the best stacks I've ever heard in my entire life. Some of the best lush, warm feeling, warm hug background vocals. Brandy has one of the best and most influential voices that I have ever heard, and she doubted herself. And that's why, to me, Never Say Never goes to show that just because you don't believe that you're good enough, and just because you have self-doubt doesn't mean that you can't go after whatever your calling is. And I already said it earlier on in the video, but Brandy's background vocals heavily inspired me and still to this day inspire me. To me, Never Say Never is where Brandy unlocked her vocal Bible status. Immediately upon this re-listen, getting hit with Angels, I was gonna say Angels Never Die. Immediately getting hit with Angel in Disguise. What the freak? Honestly. The backgrounds in Angel in Disguise needs to be studied by me, by you, by him, by her. It just, some kind of something is in Angel in Disguise. Those backgrounds are so haunting, but also so alluring. The stacks of the vocal, my goodness. Like, I really feel like I could just sit here and gush and gush and gush. I feel like I could just sit here and really bask in the beauty of Brandy's background vocals in Angel in Disguise, and it still wouldn't be enough. The blend of the vocals on this album really do something for me. And speaking of blend, another thing that I noticed on the listen of this album was how consistent the sound was, how much the acoustic feel and the guitar was the star of the show next to Brandy's vocal, of course. Songs like Never Say Never, Learn the Hard Way, Put That on Everything, Almost Doesn't Count. Like, there is a consistent acoustic kind of feel that drives home the vulnerability that is present on this album. I was honestly almost hesitant to listen to this album today or choose this album for today's episode because I know that it is such a vulnerable sounding album. And me personally, I've been in my feelings lately and I knew that it was going to bring out more of my feelings. But I just had to, like, that was an even more pressing reason for me to highlight this album. The fact that it can unlock vulnerability in me, that says something. The Rodney Jerkins, LaShawn Daniels combo is absolute magic. Like, LaShawn Daniels really put his pen to that paper for these songs. Like, there is such a vulnerability to them. You feel them. It's so real. It's raw, but it's beautifully sang to the point that, like, it almost feels like a lullaby, some of these songs. But you know what song doesn't feel like a lullaby? One of my favorites, one of the standouts to me, which is You Don't Know Me Like You Used To. You Don't Know Me Like You Used To instantly comes in knocking. Like, there is just something so chill and so cool about this song. Every single time this song comes on, I just have to listen to it. I just feel like it's so hot. Isn't that what they said in the 90s and early 2000s, that everything was hot? This song is hot. Another standout on this album for me is Happy. I love Happy. That's a song that I really didn't get into or like discover for real until I got older. I don't think that it was a single, although it should have been. Although they did highlight this song Happy in Brandy's movie with Diana Ross called Double Platinum. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a cute little watch. I think it wasn't like such a big movie because I also didn't know that ever existed until I got older. But I think that it's worth watching. I think that it was definitely that era of 90s stars kind of breaking into roles in movies and stuff, and just makes me think about like Mariah's glitter era and all that, about singers being in movies where they are singers. I would love to be in a movie as a singer. Actually, let me just say that out loud because you know, words have power. So who knows, y'all? You may just see me being in a movie, playing a singer as a singer. And speaking of singers singing, I want to go into some of my favorite lyrics from this album, which are from track 14, One Voice. A song that heals, a melody of reason and freedom, with words that will speak for the weak, the hopeful and the strong. Sing it for everyone, 'cause there is one sky above, there is just one source of love. If I've got one chance, I'll sing it from the heart. One song, one voice. Now that I've done some research on this album and have found that Brandy was a bit insecure about her vocal performance, it does make this song even more meaningful for me. Initially, these were some of my favorite lyrics because as a singer myself, I find, or at least I've learned to find purpose in my voice. I really got into writing songs because I wanted to express myself. Like before I ever knew that I had any type of usable voice, I was just writing lyrics. I was just expressing myself. And now that I am a singer, it makes it even more meaningful for me to express my voice and to express my lyrics. I've had people come up to me and tell me just how much my voice brings them comfort and makes them feel warm and fuzzy and all the things. And that is so special to me because that's what I get from singers like Brandy. It took me a long time and it's still kind of taking me some time to really appreciate my voice and to really learn to love it and live with it and express it as freely and loudly as I can. And to hear that Brandy was feeling similar feelings to the way that I'm feeling, it just brings me such comfort. I'm like, dang, even the freaking vocal Bible doesn't know that she is the freaking vocal Bible. I mean, at this point in time, I would assume that she's a bit more confident and that she's a bit more understanding of her power. Honestly, she deserves to feel that. It is really such a beautiful thing to hear a song and feel connected to the person singing it, feel connected to the lyrics, feel connected to the story, feel the actual vibration of the music go through your body and having that experience. That is what I was experiencing when I realized that I was in love with music, when I realized that this is what I wanted to do or how I wanted to express myself is through creating songs. It's how I realized that there was comfort in the beats and in the vocals and in the lyrics. Writing music to me came at a time when I didn't know how to express myself any other way. And then singing came at a time where I really needed to find my voice, literally. I love these lyrics in One Voice because I believe, yes, a voice can heal, or at least help heal. It can really bring you comfort, warmth, and love. And I am a witness to that because Brandy has done that for me. We all are truly connected, and music is one of the ways that that shows. A song of mine that was heavily influenced by this Brandy era comes from my Scorpio A-side EP called Another Long Night.
Cause everyone knows that actions speak louder than words. Everybody knows, baby. And everyone knows that real love, it ain't supposed to hurt.
Fun fact, which actually isn't so fun, but after I recorded Another Long Night and listened back to it for the first time, I literally cried, like right then and there, because I was really speaking on my emotions at that time and I was really feeling it. And I really wanted that to show within my lyrics, within my vocal performance, within the way that I approached the song. And so I did channel Brandy heavily. I went deep into my lower register. I did some vocal stacking, which I normally do on pretty much every song I do anyway. But specifically for this one, I wanted to get nice and vulnerable in this song. And Another Long Night is honestly one of my favorite songs that I've ever done. I think the emotion's great, and really it just reminds me of Brandy every time that I hear it. If you made it this far into the video, you might as well like, comment, and subscribe because you love it here. So let me just say that again. You love it here. You might as well do some type of engage or something. Let me know you're here. Let me know how much you love Brandy. Let me know how much you love me. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get back into wrap up this video. I'm going to wrap up this video with the note that the vocal Bible didn't even know that she was the vocal Bible. And This just goes to tell me that just because you feel like you aren't worthy of something, or just because you feel like something, like you're not good enough, basically, just because you feel that doesn't mean that it's true. Never Say Never unlocked a vocal power in Brandy that she didn't even know that she had. It went on to be a quintuple platinum album. Like, come on. She barely believed in herself and she almost quit prior to making this album, and she hit with a bang. She even walked away with a Grammy Award for the Boy Is Mine collaboration with Monica. If you truly love something and the only thing holding you back is the fact that you feel that you aren't good enough for it, I would truly suggest that you give it a second, third, and fourth thought. I know you've heard the quote before that what you want and what you desire is on the other side of fear. And I feel like Brandy's Never Say Never album is a great example of that. She was so close to giving up and she felt like she didn't even want to be a singer anymore. Like maybe she should be more of an actor. And look what happened. After Never Say Never, she went on to release multiple more albums, including Full Moon, Aphrodisiac, B7, 211. I'm sure that I will talk about Brandy more in this series, whether it's a song or whether it's another album, because Brandy has truly been so influential and such a staple in R&B, in vocal power, in vocal mechanics, and everything. And the fact that this woman didn't even believe that at the time is just so wild to me, but it also is so human. And it just reminds me that, self-doubt, so real, just hit me that this album is called Never Say Never because you should never say never. Feel like the actual album's title track is talking about like never say never in terms of specifically a relationship. But I really feel like Never Say Never is encompassing everything, especially during this era of her album coming out where she was gonna stop making music. Like that was her Never Say Never, was she didn't think she was gonna make music again, and then she came with a freaking banger. I actually really love that I was able to come to this conclusion before I got up, because I swear to you I had just filmed the outro to this video, but then it hit me and I'm like, wait a second. Never say never, because you should never say never. Like genuinely, that is truly the message that I want you guys to take from this video. And I hope that you take some kind of message from every video in this R&Bops series, because that's part of the point, is to have a conversation and to allow it to inspire more than just a conversation about music, but also to inspire a conversation about life, a conversation about self, a conversation about love. So yeah, never say never. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna end this video here. I am starving and I need to go to my cousin's house. So I am gonna leave this on a positive note and say you can do it. Whatever it is that you put your mind to, whatever it is that you wake up thinking about and can't stop thinking about throughout your day, you can just put your mind to it and you can make it manifest into your reality if it is truly for you and if you truly believe that. Now, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you have so much love in your heart, and I will see you later. Bye.